Hello everyone and welcome to this video where today I'll be teaching you about our shape tools that we have in our Adobe Illustrator software. Now first we have the rectangle tool, just like the first lesson in which I told you. We can just click and drag to basically create a rectangle over here, and afterwards we can go ahead and then basically create more rectangles just like this by clicking and dragging, as you can clearly see. Then we can just select them and increase the width and also our height of the object or rectangle. And then if you want to change the rounded corners over here, you can click and drag. But if you want to select only a specific rounded color, do not click on this. Instead, if you want to use the direct selection tool and click on a specific corner, then the corner option will come up, in which you can select how your corners will act. Now let me select the bigger rectangle over here, select the corner, and here let's increase the radius a bit. And afterwards, if I select different corners, you can see their effect. As you can clearly see, this is the round, this is the inverted round, and this is the chamfer effect. And over here we can select the way we want our rounding. Okay, now if I select this option, first one's relative. Okay, let's just select this option. Here you can see that if I choose absolute, this is what happens. And if I choose the relative options, this is what happens. Okay, now let's say I have left this option for my rectangle, and also we can select the anchor points over here and then change the way I want to place my rectangle, as you can clearly see. Okay, all right, and then we can also select this anchor over here where we fixed our corner and move them to any place we want. All right, and then let's say you want to select a part or anchor over here from the rectangle. You can always select this anchor and then change their handles just like this. All right, as you can clearly see, this is what happens. And we can also select two anchors all at once by first selecting the anchor itself, then press shift and hold the other anchor, and now we can move these two anchors together, as you can clearly see. Okay, now after that, if you want to change the shape of your rectangle from the center, press shift and alt, then use the anchor over here, click and drag, and you can see that it increases its shape from the center while being totally proportionate in all sides. But you can also do that by pressing the shift key and then basically using the selection tool over here. Press the shift key and then you can see that it does the same, but this time it does not stay in the center, it just expands vividly. Okay, and also now what I'll do is basically again tell you about the properties over here. If you select to not scale corners, what will happen is basically you can see that the corners are not being scaled. And let's go back over here and select scale corners. Okay, and then let's deselect strokes and effects. Now what will happen when I make it small is that the basic stroke over here did not change according to the shape of our object. Okay, let's make it big, and let's basically select this option again, and this time when I make it small, you can see that the lines also itself go smaller. Okay, let's press Ctrl Z to get back. Let's press Ctrl Z to bring it back. All right, and now let's go over here and use this rectangle over here. And here you can see that I can also select any path over there and move it using my direct selection tool. You don't necessarily have to select our anchors. You can also select our paths. All right. So this is all for the rectangle tool, but you can also like fix their strokes, add a color. Then you can also add a uniform or any width profile you want to your rectangle. Then we can also select a width style, for example. I mean font. I mean stroke style. Now let's change the vector. So let's select this. Now you can see that this is what it looks like. Okay. So we have a design over here which you can use also. So let's go ahead and go to the next part, which is opacity, where you can increase and decrease the opacity of your shape. Now you can see that the opacity has decreased until it has disappeared, and now it's back. All right. Now we can also select the style over here. Let's select that. Now you can see that the style has changed for a rectangle clearly. Okay, let's press Ctrl Z to bring it back. And this time we'll put the style on a normal rectangle over here. If you want more styles, then go to this option over here. And here you can see we have 3D effects. And here it says we have the roadblock. Okay. I don't think we can do this because we don't have enough memory for this, but oh well. Let's go ahead and select another style instead of 3D. Let's select artist effects, and here we can select any of these. You can see that this is what it looks like very clearly. Okay. Now let's go ahead and basically use the direct selection tool over here, select an anchor, and now you can see that we can change the way this shape also looks. Now with this perfect option, we can also basically round our corners, make this part more rounder. We can do it like that also. Let's round this part. And now you can see that this is how we create different types of designs in Adobe Illustrator. Okay, now what I'm going to do is basically create a lightning style over here. So first I'm going to add some anchor points. Okay, now let's use the direct selection tool. Now what I can do is basically use my normal selection tool, turn it around, and now you can see that I have lightning over here. Okay, using my rectangle. All right, now you can do this with all other shapes. You can just use the direct selection tool and then create a shape like this. Okay, let's zoom out and let's move forward with our next basic tool, which is the rounded rectangle tool. Now the rounded rectangle tool is almost similar to our rectangle tool, other than the fact that it has rounded corners just like before. I don't think I don't think I need to teach you anything about the rounded rectangle tool here, because this is basically almost similar to our rectangle tool. So I guess I'm going to skip this part and then go to my ellipse tool over here. Now what the ellipse tool does is basically it can create ovals or even clear circles. And as you can see, this is the circle. And if you want to create a circle which is perpendicular to the center, press shift, and after that you can see that my circle is clear. And if you want to create it from the center, for example, say you want to create it from this over here, the center of this rounded rectangle, press alt and shift and then create a circle, and then you can see that we have created our circle very carefully. Let's go over here and create another circle, press shift alt, and there you go, we have created our circle over here too. Okay, So now let's go ahead and show you the points of the circle. Okay, now in the circle we have only 4 anchor points from which we can choose from. We can make it wide also, but if we press shift and try to increase its size, it will increase its size perpendicularly towards the center. And if we go ahead and try to rotate it, okay, it won't show any change because it's a circle. And then we have this option over here, which is the smart angle, which will create like charts for you. If you try to create a pie chart, you can like cut out pieces of your circle. Let's say I just cut out 180 degrees. Okay, now afterwards you can see that I have a half circle. Now this way you can create half circles, or even you can just try to create a one 1/4 of a circle which is missing. All right, so this is all you need to know about circles. You can also fill in your color for this and also add a stroke color as well. As you can clearly see, you can increase its stroke, you can decrease its opacity, increase it as well very easily. All right, so this is how you use our circle or ellipse tool, and now you can see that we almost have a Pac-Man over here. So let's just create a yellow color over here and give our stroke as black. There we go. Now we have our Pac-Man. All right, so this is how you use the ellipse tool. And afterwards, now what I'll try to teach you is our Polygon tool. Now in Polygon and Star Tool there is a similarity. Basically, when we use the Polygon tool, we can just create a shape very easily, just like this. You can see the polygon has 6 sides. Okay, if you want to increase the number of sides, just click and hold while you're trying to make the polygon, and then press the up and down arrow keys to basically increase the size. And if you go down to the lowest part, it will create a triangle. If you keep on going up, it will just create a circle that has, or a polygon that has 1000 sides. Okay, now let me turn it back down, and you can see the width and height are decreasing. There you go. Okay, all right, so afterwards, if you want, you can just press the artboard over here and then increase the number of sides manually, and you can also increase the radius over here. Okay, now let's go ahead and select the number size to 4, and you can see that we have created a rectangle with our polygon tool. Okay, now in the polygon tool, you can go over here and let me expand it, and you can see that we have only one rounded rectangle point over here. Now if I do that, you can see that our polygon tool's sides are being rounded from only one side. Okay, now if you want to like change the way it works, also use the direct selection tool, double click on it, select this, and then let's say the radius over here. Now you can see that this is how it changes. Okay, let's change it back to normal, and this time what I'll do is basically click hold shift and select all the parts over here, and now I'm going to round them together. This time I'm going to use the option over here and then increase the radius more. And now you can see that this is what happens. All right, if I select the corners like this, you can notice a bit more difference. Right, now if I select these corners over here, you can see this is what happens. Okay, now if I select that with my selection tool and then select rotate, it looks like we have a sheriff's badge over here. Okay, I can go back over here, use this, Let's fill it up with a different color. So now what I'd like to do is basically right click, transform, rotate to at least 180, press OK. Now what I'd like to do is okay, good enough, not bad. Now let's do something is basically let's go ahead and take a circle over here, and then what I'd like to do is add an anchor point, or I could just use this option over here. Take a half circle, enlarge it over here. Okay, so I'll delete this there. Go. Now we seem to have a animated badge of sorts using our polygon tool over here. All right, so let's go ahead to the next tool, which is the star tool. Now, what is the star tool? The star tool is basically, as what it describes itself to be, it is a tool that creates stars. And just like the polygon tool before, we can create the shape by pressing and holding shift. We can create a straight shape other than the shaping like this. If you press shift, it will be even, and after we create it, we can also use the selection tool to enlarge it. Press and hold shift to make it perpendicular to all sides. If you don't press shift, this is what it will look like. Okay, all right, let's go back. And now if you want to create a star with an increased number of sides or corners, just create one, press the up arrow key to increase the number of vertexes that you wanted to have. And if you wanted to have more or less, then you can just go ahead and select the star over here, create one, press the down arrow key, and now you can see that we have a star just like this. Okay, let's select it, put it down. Now with the star you can create many different types of designs. All right, let's go ahead, select the star, create one right over here. Okay, then what I'll do is basically take the rotate tool over here, then I'm gonna click on the center over here by pressing Alt, by the way. And after that, what I'd like to do is change the angle a little bit and then press copy. And then I can just press Ctrl D to spam this effect. And now you can see that we have a beautiful design over here. We can even change the fill to a different color. And now that was what it looked like. Let's just remove the stroke. Now you can see this is what it looks like. Okay, now we can go over here. First, let me right click and group them. And now let's go over here and we can add a style to it. So let's add a texture this time. And in texture, make this big. You can choose any of these from below. As you can see, this is what it looks like. Okay, let's choose another texture over here, for example this pattern effect, and afterwards you'll see that this pattern effect doesn't suit this, so let's go ahead and add some buttons and rollovers. Okay, now here you can see that this is what it looks like. Okay, let's make it a bit small. All right, there you go. Now this is how you basically use the star tool in order to create very various amounts of designs. And then we can also click over here again, and in our color fill we can also choose a gradient color from here. So what we have to do for choosing the gradient over here is basically going to gradient, and then here I want my gradient to have, let's say, the color of blue. Here I want my gradient to have the color of red. For this one I want it to have okay. Now you can see that this is the way it affects my design, and it's very nice. Okay, so that is all for this video. Thank you for watching this, and I'll see you in the next video.